Hi everyone, my name is Maria and welcome to Bulldog Bias. And this is the little cat Fluffy. She's not so little, she's like literally 13 years old, but you're so cute. So today I'm going to be discussing the men's first round, Bulldogs versus Collingwood. And well, I did record this with Dad, but the file became corrupted, so I'm going to be doing this by myself. And from now on, I'm no longer going to be recording the videos on my laptop. It's going to be strictly on my phone because I don't want to keep doing this all the time at like, it's literally 12. But yeah, let's get into it. So footy is finally back in Victoria, finally back at the MCG, which is really exciting. Been waiting for this since last season had a halt in Victoria. But yeah, it's great to see crowds are back. It's great to finally hear the crowd sing your team song loud and proud, and it's just great. It's just everyone in the crowd is their own umpire in their own way. Let's be honest. Yeah. So Bulldogs played Collingwood on February 19th March at 7:50 p.m. at the MCG. There was a crowd of 46,000. Obviously, because of COVID restrictions, we still can't have everyone at the ground. There was no injuries, and our injury substitute was West. So before I get into the stats and gameplay, I'd like to talk about the new rules first of all. So the interchanges went from 90 to 75. Dad and I talked about this. We discussed that if it goes any lower, we'd be really worried about like player safety and all that, because there's only so much a human can do. Like, I know they're meant to be fit and like athletes, but there comes to a point where it's too far. You know, how far is too far when it comes to lowering the interchanges? And I think if it gets any lower, it's gone too far. And Dad agrees. Second, we're back to full 20-minute quarters, which is exciting and nice. It's a very, I feel like as it's what you're used to, you kind of like it more. Changing that just always seems very unnatural, but I guess, you know, COVID last year, they tried to squeeze in more games more quickly, so that was needed. Yeah, the injury sub, when they got rid of the sub in the first place, I think Lucky Hunter was one of our last subs that we used before that rule was taken out, and I didn't think we'd ever have like any sort of sub rule ever again, and now they do. It's a new kind of sub though. It's an injury sub. So basically what happens is if a player gets injured and they're going to miss more than 12 days or more, then the injury sub could come in. This is mainly based on this. I believe that this rule was based on concussions, and this was only brought within like like before the first match even begun. So, and in the rules, if regardless if the injury sub played on field or not, they still get the game in their stats. So that's that. So like if you're in a premiership, and let's just say, I don't know, someone like, let's just use Lucky Hunter as an example. I still could be sub, but like just say like Lucky Hunter is the injury sub, and even though no one does any injuries, he still gets a medal for the premiership. So there's a lot to unpack there. And lastly, we're just going to talk about on the mark rule. So you can you can't jump on the mark. Everyone else has to can't come within 5 meters on the mark. So when Bulldogs played that famous game against Geelong where everyone was on the mark against Harry Taylor, we can't do that anymore. You can't stand still, and you know, Dad said in his comments about it how it does kind of keep the game moving forward, but at the same time it's just not pleasing to watch because your person's just standing still like this, like you're not allowed to jump and everything, and it's awkward. It's like how there was no crowds. It's very awkward. Those awkwardness out there. Nothing can beat the awkwardness of no crowds. Especially the fake crowd sounds, even though you can see no one there. That was awkward. COVID was an awkward time and still is. But at least there's crowds now. So with that talk, let's get into the gameplay. So in the first quarter, Vandermeer kicked the opening goal for the Western Bulldogs, followed by a goal by Norton and a goal by Bruce. I know after that 7-goal game, he hasn't really kicked goals after that, and it's just great to see him to just kind of get in and around again, and I guess get some of that confidence back, because I guess when you've kicked 7 goals, you have a lot of confidence, but then when you can't produce anything after that, it's kind of it would do a lot to his confidence, and I feel like getting a goal in the first quarter would have brought back some confidence that he can do it, you know what I'm saying? After that, there was a behind by Liberatore and a behind by Bailey Dale. So in the end of the first quarter, Carlton had 1 goal, 2 behinds with 8, and whereas the Bulldogs had 3 goals and 2 behinds with 20. So at the end of the first quarter, the Bulldogs led by 12 points. In the second quarter, Bailey Smith kicked the opening goal for the Western Bulldogs, followed by a behind by Chalor. After that, McNeil kicked his first goal in AFL, he got given a 50-meter penalty. So that was kind of easy, but still a goal. Still more goals than I will ever get in AFL ever, so that's an achievement. After that, Mitch Wallace kicked it behind, then English got another behind, and then there was another goal by Vandermeer, and near the end of the second quarter, followed by a miss by Bruce. So at half-time, Carlton were 4 goals, 6 behinds with 30, and Bulldogs were 6 goals, 5 behinds with 41, so we were leading by 11 points by half-time. I'd like to... I've noticed that after half-time, I feel like Bulldogs fatigued a bit, but also too Collingwood played a bit better. So I think we kind of slowed down after the first half. But at the same time, it is the first game back, and just as Dad's played a lot of football, right? I play squash, and it's nothing can sort of emulate match fitness. You have to play matches to get match fit, especially against this level of players. Like you play interclub games, but it's like nothing sort of beats a match like an actual AFL match, and it's hard to imitate. So I guess as the season goes on, they'll hopefully fix those issues, because I'd hate to see us like win big by halftime and then just lose that lead in the second half, because that's devastating. But yeah. So in the third quarter, Norton got us the opening goal, then a goal by Smith again, a behind by Dunkley, and then a goal by English. English played a really good game, to be honest. When it came to giving out the votes who thought were best on ground, I found it really hard. I was kind of flipping between who should get 3 points, if it should be McRae, Smith, maybe English. There's a lot of people that I wanted to give my one vote to, but it's like you can only give out three, who your top three are. So, it was really hard, but yeah, it was a team effort. Obviously, there was a few big standouts, but it's like there was a lot of good play by most players. And in the last quarter, we kind of slowed up. There was two behinds, one by English and one by Bont, followed by Eagle and Martin near the end of the quarter. In the end, Collingwood got 7 goals, 11 behinds with 53 points, and Bulldogs got 10 goals and 9 behinds with 69 points. So Bulldogs won by a total of 16 points. All in all, I thought it was a really good game by the Dogs. Good game by Trelaw too. It's always hard when you have to play. I can only imagine it's hard to play against your old teammates, your old team. Obviously, there's still a little bit of emotion there, and he obviously he's made friends in the Collingwood Football Club. And like when I started playing squash, I made friends, and I always found it really strange playing against my friends, but you get used to it. So I feel like for Trelaw, it's good for him to get that win over Magpies, so maybe it will settle a bit of nerves. English and Martin dominated Grundy, which is great because Grundy is a great ruckman, and to keep him quiet like that, it's a really good effort by both of them. Like I said, it was a big team effort. Obviously, it is a team sport. Hi, Fluffy. What are you doing? Anyway, it's a team sport. Ironically, it's a cliche, but it's like everyone did play well. Everyone was ready to play. And just to hear Bulldog fans singing that team song loud and proud at the end was really great to hear. And I think it's definitely something that both the fans and the players have missed, especially spending all that time interstate last year in the hubs. But yeah, it's great to have it back here in Victoria, and it's slowly coming back to normal. So let's get on to the player stats. So most goals are shared with Vandermeer, Smith, and Norton with 2 goals each. Most disposals is Smith with 36. Most kicks is Oscar Smith with 23. Most handballs is McRae, and I didn't write how many he got down. I'll put the link in the description below for you to check out all these stats yourself. Most marks is Hunter and Bruce with 11. Most tackles is McRae and Laboratory with 7 each. Most hitouts is Martin with 15. Most clearances is Laboratory with 7. Most meters gained is Bailey Rillans with 550, and he did have a lot of the ball that game. I did notice that, and I wanted to give him a vote, but I didn't end up giving him a vote. But like I said, there's a lot of good players, and as you can see by the stats, that it was a team effort since a lot of the stats were shared. And most goal assists go to Hunter with 2. So now I'm going to go into the team stats. I know we dominated the team stats. I was at the match, and you know how you had those little screens, the little scoreboards. They kept on showing the stats, and every time they showed it, we dominated most of them. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through them now. Sorry about the lighting, by the way. It's midnight. I'm sorry. So most disposals go to Bulldogs with 466, and Collingwood got 115. Most kicks go to Bulldogs again with 260, with Collingwood getting 197. Most handballs go to the Bulldogs with 206, to Collingwood's 118. Inside 50s, Bulldogs won that stat with 60, and Collingwood got 41. Free kicks, Bulldogs got 24 to Collingwood's 20, so I guess it was pretty even. Now with the stoppages, most hitouts was Collingwood 46 to Bulldogs 19. I guess they had to win something that day. Clearances were won by Bulldogs with 38 and Collingwood got 32. With the possessions, contested possessions was won by West Bulldogs. We got 156. Collingwood got 131. And uncontested possessions, Bulldogs got 305 to Collingwood's 180. We literally destroyed them. And the stats, no doubt about that. It's not hard to tell. And the marks, Bulldogs got 125 to Collingwood's 91. And marks inside 50, Bulldogs got 11, Collingwood got 5. Obviously destroying. With scoring, obviously Bulldogs got 10 goals, Collingwood got 7. And behinds, we got 9, Collingwood got 11. And time in front, honestly, Bulldogs spent the time in front the whole time. There's never time that Collingwood ever got the lead. We started out in the lead and ended in the lead. And there was no point where Collingwood got it. So I feel like momentum was mostly our way. Yeah, Collingwood got a little bit of momentum in the end, but they never had full control. Which is, I guess, what you want to see from first round. But at the same time, that's the first round. It's not going to indicate what's going to happen the rest of the season. In defense, Bulldogs got 57 tackles to Collingwood's 52, and tackles inside 50, Bulldogs got 100. Sorry. And tackles inside 50, Bulldogs won that stat with 17, and Collingwood got 5. I will leave a link in the description below for you to look at the stats yourself. There's heaps of other stats there. I was talking about this, how there's a lot more stats in men's AFL than there is in women's AFL. So, yeah, it's massive. So I'm going to move on to the votes. I'm going to tell you my votes and Dad's votes, and then after that I will give you the ladder after round 1. The votes ladder, not the actual AFL ladder. But I think Bulldogs sits somewhere in the top 8, I'm pretty sure. So my 3 votes go to Bailey Smith. Absolutely outstanding. I feel like his stats and play just speak for itself. He was always everywhere. He's always very impactful. He always created some sort of opportunity for the team, which is really great. And you want that from more players, not just one. Because if Bailey Smith has a bad day, who's going to step up? But yeah, no, he played a really good game, and he's a great young player, and he's only going to get better. I'd like to hope this is not his peak. It's only 21. So you'd like to hope there's bigger, better things happening for him. My 2 votes go to English. I just thought he had a really great game. I feel like it's one of the best games I've seen him play so far. He's definitely grown as a football player. Definitely not height-wise. If he grows anymore height-wise, that's too tall. Just English from his first season to now, there's definitely been heaps of improvement. It's exciting. It's like one of my favorite Bulldog players of all time is Will Minson, and for me it's sort of I'm not gonna lie, he is probably better than Will Minson, but it's that excitement that I used to get off Will Minson that I get off with Tim English. It's just I like to see him do well all the time. And it's just like, and it's like I want his number on the back of my jersey when I get a new Bulldogs jersey. So obviously I like Rockman. They're my favorite type of players. But yeah, he's definitely we've over the past few years, we've struggled to kind of find a good ruckman, and he definitely is it. And Martin is definitely a good second ruckman. English, and with Martin here, it gives definitely Dunkley more time to play where he wants to play. I get sort of why he wanted to leave the club, because it's like ruck is such a specialist spot, and not everyone wants to play it. And Dunkley just doesn't want to be ruck, and that's okay. Not everyone wants to be a ruck. Like I said before, it is a specialist spot. Not everyone. It's like the wicket keeper and the cricket. Not everyone wants to be a wicket keeper. But it's Dunker's kind of forced into it without any choice. But yeah, and my one vote goes to McRae. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted to give McRae 3 votes, just because I always think he's underrated and underappreciated, and I want to give him the 3 votes, but I had to be unbiased, and I had to just look at it in even eyes, and so I gave him the 1 vote. I wish I could have given it to Caleb. I wish I could have given votes to Williams. I wish I could have given votes to heaps of players, but these are my votes for this week. And Dad gave English 3 votes, he gave Smith 2 votes, and he gave McRae 1 vote. So we had similar players, but just in slightly different orders. So in the end of the first round, English and Smith are sitting number 1 with 5 votes each, and McRae is sitting at number 2 with 2 votes. As you see with our women's, it will take shape over the season. It's like 23 weeks, so I guess we'll just see what happens. Hopefully we'll get into the top 8 and get into that grand final. I feel like our team theoretically should make the top 8 and should get into a grand final. It looks really good on paper, but I guess what's important about team sport is that bond and the connectiveness and how well they gel together, because if they're not in sync, it's not going to happen. So as long as they're in sync and they're sort of enjoying each other's companies and everyone's getting along just fine, it should work. I mean, we have really good skills in our team, and I don't see why we couldn't. But there's always things happening behind closed doors that we don't know about and we don't see. So hopefully everything is going well behind closed doors and we can bring home another premiership. So next week, round 2, we are playing West Coast at Marvel Stadium at March 28th. And I'm happy to be back at our home ground. So this is our first home game of the season. I would like to think we'd win this match. I'd like to think that home advantage would play a lot into this, but as we saw last season, it's not always the biggest advantage. But I guess last year was sort of a weird year. I think we should win by 7 points. West Coast is good, no doubt. Obviously they won the premiership in 2018 at the MCG. That's obviously the Marvel Stadium is different regard to MCG, but it's like if they can win a premiership in an interstate ground, then I feel like they wouldn't have too much issue playing in other interstates grounds. So they are a good team, but I think we're just slightly better. Like I said, hopefully I think we should be able to pull off a win. Jason Johannesson is not listed in the team again, which I'm sort of upset about. I really love JJ. I really love his speed. He's really good in the breakaway. But yeah, that is it for me today. Give it a thumbs up, comment down below some of your thoughts about the new rules, how the Bulldogs played, and if you think Jason Johansson deserves to be put in the team and not listed as an emergency. And next week, I'll be back with Dad. We'll both be doing this channel together. We've just had some difficulties, but yeah, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and see you next week. Bye.